I got a lot of time.
Cool, man. It's trying to do its thing right now.
Can't believe this happened.
Yeah. Mountain Chris.
I've been watching this type of what you're doing through skate,
Oh,
and I was just wondering if anybody's doing it with surf. I was thinking that last night because I'm
oh,
focused on skate right now.
right. That's cool, man. Yeah, skaters are all over stuff. That's for sure.
I'm watching this 9 Club. It's a bunch of guys that were pro back in the 90s. They put together a podcast. And so they're going back and interviewing all these great skaters. So I'm learning about skateboarding. I
Nice,
quit at
man.
the age. I was scared.
That's cool, man. Skaters are cutting edge. Okay, everybody, we're live here. Today, it's Pro Surf Blog, bringing you some epic surf news. Today, we got a board meeting format. I got a legend here from Oceanside, California, Chris Mountain Corazon. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, I'm here doing everything that I've been doing since 16 and still loving doing what I'm doing.
That's cool, man. Everybody, I see Chris a lot down at the Oceanside Harbor. He's down there, getting his boogie board on, throwing airs and El Rolos, and I mean, just mixing it up, man. And just, he's just got that energy and that fire, the love for the sport, which is just awesome. And so I got in touch with Chris here today, and as I was contacting Chris, he was skateboarding. What's up with the skateboarding, man? Is that something new, something old? What you doing?
So I started it like during COVID, or right before COVID. I was in a relationship and it was going sour. And the only thing that I found that kept making me happy was the skateboard, because the relationship was depressing me. And I needed something to bounce out of that so that I could go back to her and try to at least balance out what was going on, because a lot of it had to do with financial. And that was like affecting the relationship so much. And that has to do with a lot of relationships. They usually end because of financial reasons.
Word.
So when I had that dealing with her, I was giving my all. I wanted to help her in any way I could. I've never had the means. That's just been my life. And I'm okay with that. I've always been blessed with other talents, such as being able to walk on water, bodyboard, or being able to skateboard. So I've been able to be blessed with the lifestyle without really having the money to back it. I get everything naturally, and I'm thankful for that. And everybody that noticed me at a young age and saw talent in me and wanted to keep seeing me. I think that's how I've been able to maneuver myself in this surf world and now the skate world, is because that people like seeing me doing what I do. And if they like seeing me doing what I do, somehow the universe is going to let me do what I want to do. And that's basically, my life has been blessed around that. In California, it's all about California dreaming. So I feel like I'm the epitome of that. I'm doing it more than anybody. I'm living out of a van. I'm going wherever I want to go. I live in the harbor. I mean, I boogie because it was my way to get into the surf world and stay in the world without anybody showing me what to do or telling me what I can do. Like, I learned it on my own, and I figured out how to do it and stay in the water. I wanted to be in the water, and that's what I'm learning now. Is there's this book called A Blue Mind, and I'm trying to get it to start reading it. It's about how mental health and the ocean are they correlate with one another, so that you can be in a better setting with yourself. So I've noticed it in mine, because I was angry before I committed to surf. I was very angry. And because I was trying to battle that world of trying to make money, and I couldn't do it. I went to college and went to SDSU, and none of that made me happy. So I was constantly doing that stuff.
Okay. I mean, I hear you, Chris. I mean, I think probably like a lot of people, a lot of surfers everywhere around the world, at the harbor, though, myself, when life is tricky, the thing that's always there for me tends to be the surf. And through the highs, the lows, or if I need balance or clarity or pulling back, I mean, like a lot of people will say surfing, saves their lives or save their life. And so during this last, this experience you're talking about, boogie boarding wasn't, was the conditions not good, and so you kind of reached out for skateboarding, or what kind of led you to try something a little similar but different?
The skateboard, I've always meditated a lot. I do probably more meditation than most.
Okay.
I've understood that type of philosophy. I've studied that more than I've studied anything else. Then I studied booty culture. Then I studied anything. I live in that realm. That's what I love about life is spirituality. I spend so much time reading great books of, gurus. And so when I do these meditations, messages come to me.
Mhm.
And I was sleeping a lot on top of Tyson Park over there on the south side of the pier of Oceanside. And a lot of messages were telling me to get back into skateboarding. And I was like, I don't want to get into skateboarding. I don't want to fall. That's the main, I don't want to fall because if I fall, I can't get in the water. And so I thought, well, I got to give it a shot because I'm 40 right now. And I figured I might as well try something new in life because I've got boogie down. I mastered it. And I got into a relationship recently, and so that relationship I wanted to pull myself out of the ocean and still do what I love to do in the ocean, still get that same high, but be able to take it with her because my new partner is a traveler, a very distant traveler, and I want to experience that. I've never thought about doing that in my life, and if I could have a chance, I have another outlet of doing what I love to do in the ocean, but on that skateboard. So it's like it's a new avenue for me to learn, just like I had to learn boogie. Like it took me a while. And I'm seeing that they're both correlated because the cultures were crossing. When surfers weren't able to surf, they were skateboarding. And so I feel like I'm still in the same element, whether if I'm in water or I'm on a skateboard. My wheels, they glow in the dark like blue, like ocean. Nice. So I'm an epitome of the surfer, whether I'm on the ocean or I'm on the cement. But I want to be on the cement because I want to share my life with someone special, and that's
because you might travel to places where there's no beach maybe in the future.
Yeah, with her, yes, and that I'm gonna have to learn how to get that same high that I get from the ocean. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get it from the skateboard. So I'm cutting a new stage in my life to see if I can pull what I pull from the ocean from the skateboard because I have to live by the ocean. I need that water. I understand how much that helps me in my life, but I also want to share my life with someone special. So I'm trying to balance both. And if I can get it through balancing on a skateboard, then I might be able to see things that I maybe never wanted to saw before because of me entertaining a new chapter in my life.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I have a lot of respect for skateboarders. I like to watch skateboarders. If I see skateboarders doing tricks on the street, sometimes I'll just check them out, and watch what they're doing. And, I've skated a little bit over my life, but really, I'm kind of like what you expressed a little while ago is I don't like to fall down too much, or like, I don't mind falling down, but what happens is that, like you said, if I get hurt in a way that I can't surf, then I get bummed out a little bit. So, do you have pads? Do you plan to get pads, or how's that?
I try not to push myself because I did the same in the surf game. Like I saw surfers doing stuff that I was like amazed by, and I was like, but I'm not going to push myself to where I know that I can't do. I know my capabilities, and I'm not going to push myself out of my capabilities for somebody else's, rules. I know my own rules. My own rules is what I live for, not for someone else's rules. I love letting people love what I do, but I'm not doing it for them because if I start doing it for them, then I'm going to start doing stupid stuff like trying to jump off a roof or try to do something, that's going to hurt. I'd rather just stay in my element and whatever tricks come to me, those are my tricks. But if there's not many tricks that I can do, I'm doing the basic essence of skateboarding, which is just kick and push. That's all you need to do is kick and push. And I think surfers know that more than anybody because I'm using it as a tool. If you see gas prices are going up and I'm kicking and pushing anywhere and everywhere just to go get food. Like if I'm in the harbor, I'll kick and push all the way to the other side of the harbor to go get fish and chips from one of my favorite spots to eat in the harbor. There's fish and chips. There's a harbor place that you can go to. It's a local fishery. And I go out there and when I want it because I have to sustain my metabolism. I'm burning a lot of energy now that I'm skateboarding more than ever. Like I've already dropped so much weight that it's incredible like how much weight I've dropped just picking up a skateboard. More than I've ever gotten from surfing. And boogieing, because boogieing I'm using the whole body. And that's another reason why I like boogies. I've never sit still. I have to constantly move. And for someone with a lot of energy and a lot of, you know, a lot of insight in life, moving hands and feet, it gives balance to you when you get out of the water. And if someone can figure that out just from that little play that I get from the boogie board, because I made it look cool. But before making it look cool, if you take back for what it really is, it's putting you in the water and it's giving you a way to stay safe in the water because you can float on a device. You got the strap, you got the fins, where surfers don't have fins. Right. So I try to tell, like, because a lot of people want to learn to surf, and that's hard. It's hard to surf. And most people quit because they can't do it in the first time. You get on the boogie and you get a first wave, you get it instantly. Like instantly you get that yee! And that's what I do it. I don't see surfers getting that. They can't pull what I pull from just catching a baby wave on a boogie where they're trying, because they're in competition with one another. There's no competition to me. I ain't never seen no boogies around me. Like they're all gone. Right. My biggest competition I ever saw was when I went to Puerto Rico. And I was just amazed because they was doing a lot of things that I was like, but it was a gnarly wave. I got all cut up on the reef. It was a break called Hollows. Okay. And it was a boogie family. Shout out to them, man, because those guys crush it out there.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do what they do. And I'm blessed to be in a spot where it's just pure longboarders and surfers. And I'm like the only boogier. And I feel like I'm able to sit on the inside while they sit on the outside and do what I love to do and not get in anybody's way and continue. I could get like a 2-hour or hour session, which is an exercise for most people in the gym, which all I'm doing is swimming on the board. My body is in better shape than I've ever done before. And I used to work out at the gym 2 hours a day. I used to go run. I used to go cycle. I used to eat nutrition right. I did all those things right. Okay. And I couldn't do nothing what I got now. Like I probably have a runway model body right now if I wanted to go and do it. Because just all I'm doing is pure boogie and skateboarding now. So where it's leaning me out to what people look at magazines or ads and want to look like. I don't look at that no more because I'm doing what I love. Like before, I was so focused on trying to get my body right. I wasn't doing what I love. But as soon as I stopped focusing on myself, like trying to make myself look like what I wanted the rest of the people to think me, then I started focusing on those boards, and then that's when all this other stuff came, like naturally, the clothing, the look, the hair.
Yeah, well, you got to watch out, man. There might be some local clothing designers watching this, and they're going to gear you up, dude. You're going to be coming down
I would need it because I'm tearing clothes now skateboarding. Like, I love skateboarding, and I don't want to think about threads. I want to think about that feeling of skating, man. I have that skate vibe. I don't know. I got it. Like, I watched Gleam in the Cube. And that shit set me off. It's the old Tony Hawk movie. Okay. From like the 80s. If anyone ever wants to feel like that skateboarding movie I saw, and I stopped skateboarding at a young age till I lost this tooth. I lost my front tooth and I was like, I'm done. I put it away. And I kept trying to pick it up in life, but the falls kept hurting me. And then once COVID hit, I was just like, fuck, it balls out. I mean, they already took away our freedom. What do I gotta lose? What do we gotta lose? They took away everything from us. They made us wait in the house. They made us, wear a mask, not love our moms. Like, that shit hurt, man.
There was like 2 weeks to actually shut everything down, man. Luckily it was blown out. I remember it was like south wind. The waves were pretty bad those couple weeks, but that was rough, man.
I ran all the way up to Santa Cruz because I wanted to be in the water. Okay. Because they uplifted the holes, and I stayed up there for a while, and then I ran back down when they said we can come back on the beach. But it was weird is you couldn't sit on the beach. They wanted you to keep walking back and forth. And I was trying to do yoga, and I'm creating a comic book of my whole life, like what this whole lifestyle and stuff. And all right. I said to put a yoga mat on the beach, and I start coloring, and the police or the lifeguards were like, get off the beach. And it was like, that shit was horrible, man. Like, and then I saw pregnant women wearing masks. Like, they turned everybody against each other during the times when I thought enlightenment was happening, where everybody was figuring out, because I figured out who I was. Like, I was so much before COVID, I was trying to live a lifestyle of what my mom wanted me to be, my dad wanted me to be, what society wanted me to be. And then when I gave up on all of that, and I walked away from it, I walked away from SDSU, and I was like, I'm going to chase boogie. And that's when everything fell in line with me. And that's when 2020 hit, which I thought 2020 meant everyone's gonna get their 20/20 vision. They're gonna be doing what they're supposed to be doing. But then when that fear hit in, that COVID, you can't think about what you're supposed to be doing when they got a big, cloud over your head fearing you. And then after that, then they hit you with the racism stuff. And I was like, that's what I studied in college. That was all I studied in college was African American history and Chicano.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I was already ready for that. So when that hit, I was in Huntington Beach when I was hitting. And I was like, oh.
I used to live over there too, man. That was a whole different world for sure.
I was trying to boogie over there, and then that riot, that the whole mob was coming through the streets, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I want to focus on what I love and stop focusing on what this fear stuff. Because if you focus on that fear stuff, you're not gonna go get out of bed and go boogie. You're not gonna go get out of bed and go skateboard. All you're gonna be thinking about is what they're trying to make you think about, both the COVID shit, this new stuff that's going on, the war. Some stupid shit that's going on in Hollywood right now about a slap. Like, I had to hear it from my girl, but I don't pay attention to that shit because then that's distracting me from what I'm supposed to be doing, which is boogie, which is skateboarding. And that's what they've done on everybody. They don't put everybody in a hold, and nobody's woke to that. Because they're busy focusing on what they want you to focus on.
That's
surfers,
right.
What I wanted all the surfers just to mob the water during COVID. And I was like, there's not enough lifeguards or police to kick us all out. Like, I wanted it to be like a protest. Like, every surfer in the world just go in the water during this time.
So, because you did some history stuff, Chris. And so as those couple first weeks were going by, man, I was like, I'm at the house, right? I'm starting to, get itchy a little bit. And I'm like, I'm thinking about history. I'm like, yo, man, I'm going to start an underground railroad just to get people to the water. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna have my own route and my own, my whole setup. And we're gonna, dude, you're like, man, I'm just trying to serve, man. And I know other people need to serve. I'm trying to get people to freedom. You know what I mean? Like, but luckily they lifted that. But you're right. Things were, even after they lifted it
down the coast. Let me give you some examples. I ran to OB over there where that roller coaster is in Belmont Park.
Okay.
And I was hiding in a cut because I live in a van.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking back and forth to the beach, and they had the guys on the bikes driving on the bike path, like kicking us off the beach. And I was at that time, because they wouldn't let us in the water, so I would jump in the water just to clean myself and jump out, and then somehow stand in between the beach or on the other side and get dry. But they wouldn't let me. They cut off all the showers, they cut off all the bathrooms. So, and then they made it real rough for people to live. And that's when I was like, this is my only way to clean myself. So that's when I ran up north, because I was like, there's more beach and less patrolling. Because it was so much patrolling in the tight spots. I was hanging off a cliff in La Jolla because I was trying to avoid. I was going in the rich areas where I knew the patrolling wasn't as thick as it was in the poor areas, like Oceanside. The poor beaches where they have thick patrolling. I had to go somewhere where I had to keep my lifestyle going, even though.
So Chris, let me pull back here just a little bit. Everybody, I want to let you know, Chris has a YouTube channel. He's got some great content on there. I'm going to put it after we're done with this. It takes me a minute, but I go update the description on this video. And so, give me a few minutes to do that when we're done here today. But there will be his link. You check out his YouTube, subscribe to him. What's cool, Chris, more than boogie board, well, I should say more than, but in addition to boogie board, in addition to skateboarding, he's got a couple other elements that he has some beautiful talents with, including poetry. So Chris's poetry, man, it is amazing. Chris, I've spent a little bit of time watching some of your videos. One of your videos, I'm not sure it's on your channel or not, but I saw you went over to Junebug's barbershop and you did some amazing freestyle poetry that was like, I was floored. I was like, wow, that was amazing. Just, the way that comes together. You guys obviously known each other for a minute. And so that probably just came right out of you with no problems whatsoever. So everybody check that out. He's on there. Like I said, I'm going to put that in there. And he's all around town. He's on different beaches doing different stuff. I think you were in Malibu one time. And yeah, pretty cool. And just so everybody sees right here, look at in my quiver, I got a couple boogies right here. They're hubs. I got these are actually, what's that?
That's what's up. I mean, that's all you really need. You don't need a fancy one.
Yeah, I got these for my Groms, but I use them too. I get out there and dude, I try to El Rolo. So I was a boogie boarder. I'll be a boogie boarder for life. But when I was younger, I used to boogie board a lot. I mean, that was my thing. That was my jam. And I used to go to, like you said, a lot of spots, a lot of surfers. And I was out there, man. I was doing everything, man. I'll rolos onto the sand, whatever I had to do. Airs. Also, Chris, or everybody out there, I'm going to share. It's like a 10-second clip. I got Chris and actually a lot of people at the harbor, whoever was out this day about 4 or 5 months ago. And it was kind of a gloomy day, but people are out there just glowing in the gloom, having a great time surfing. So I'm going to show you Chris. Chris, man, he gets loose. Every time I see you in the lineup, I'm always keeping an eye out for you because I'm like, man, you're busting some really fun moves. So let's see here. Let's see if I can share this clip. Go boom, boom. Okay, so everybody, you can see Chris right here. It's the frozen. I'm gonna hit go on this right now. Let's see. Boom, a little mini air right there. Here he comes.
Mini ramp.
Boom. Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't playing the audio right there, but anyhow, let me see if I can stop that share. All this technology, Chris, man, I'm trying to keep up. You're like a young buck, Chris. I just turned I'm gonna be 51 any day now. So I'm an old guy. The skateboarding scares me. I used to kind of dabble a little bit. Now I'm like, man, I'm a little shy on it. I got a skateboard in the ride. I keep it in there, but it's got big old wheels on it. So it's not for any fancy tricks, more for cruising.
That's all you need, cruising. That's what I'm saying is that it's good for mental health illness, but it's also good for the elderly to stay coordinated within their bodies. Because if they can keep that coordination, they're gonna have to rely less on medical in the hospital. If they can keep themselves in shape and fitness,
sure,
through a skateboard just by rolling down the road, not necessarily doing any kickflips or any of that. They invented that later to get more people into it. Just like all the gnarly tricks of surfing, like longboarders to me still.
This is me kicking my skateboard, dude. Just
yeah, that's all you need to do. It's keeping you in shape. If you look at the core of your stomach, if you take that same essence of what you take to 24-hour fitness or a gym, you're gonna see a machine telling you to do that same thing. But this time you're being able to be out in nature, and that's priceless. Being able to be under the sun, being able to be by the ocean, being able to see the grass, the trees, the birds, feel that wind, feel that leaf, that's priceless, man. And everybody should respect that right now because of what they did to you during COVID. If you do not understand what they did to you during COVID, then you still believing in COVID. They took away your freedom. They didn't let you go outside. And if you can understand how simple it is to get up on a skateboard and kick and push and feel the wind and see the birds and feel the sun and feel a little bit of element of what earth and nature is, then you're winning. Then you escape what the fear is and you move into the truth.
So Chris, right. Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, it's a whole mind-blowing thing. I think everybody's still trying to wrap their heads around. Chris, what's the boogie board you've been riding lately, or like what's your favorite boogie board brand or shape?
I got a friend named Wally Sonny. He's a professional boogie boarder. He rides for Triad.
Okay.
When I was young, I remember coming up to him because he said he was the best. And I found it late in life where I went into the military and I escaped Oceanside for a while, but then I came back and I heard he was the best. And I went up to him and saying, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to ride with him. And I've always kind of hung around with him in the water here and there. And he saw that I was committed to it. He gave me a Triad board that by the first guy who invented drop knee was, can I think of his name? I used to do a lot of drop knee too, man. The trick is like you got to pull that flipper, over the front, which sometimes is a little hard to do when you're coming down the face. Those were the tricks that I saw coming out of the military because I came out of another trauma. Like the military, when I was in, I stood up for something that I believed in. They put me in incarceration for it. I had to wait to get out of it. The whole time I was locked up, I was thinking about, man, I just got to go back to Oceanside and do what I love. Kept thinking of the ocean and surfing and surfing and surfing. Then I hooked up with a all these fake boogie board companies that I kept breaking the boards. And
Okay.
Jimmy at JL Linville saw me at Tower 9 and Oceanside Boulevard, said,
Yeah.
you need to start riding my boards. So
Okay.
I started riding his boards. Every time I would get like some money, it was like $250. I'd give him the money. I'd ride his board for about 3 years, and then
Okay.
I'd give him the money, get another one.
Okay.
And then when I became in the van, like I don't have that access to money like I used to. Like I'm not in society, so I'm not working. I'm not getting a paycheck. I'm not contributing. I'm contributing in a different way, but I'm not receiving, royalties or money. So
Sure.
he came. I remember sleeping in the harbor, and he just showed up and he's like, "I got a gift for you." And he
Okay.
gave me this board right here.
All right,
Triad,
man.
Triad Rasta.
Yeah, that thing's sick. I've seen you rocking that thing, dude. So that's a Triad Rasta. So much love and shout outs to Triad. And look at that sick red, yellow, green setup. I've seen Chris carrying this thing down to the water and ripping. Look at those stickers on the bottom too. Sick, dude.
That guy right here, he's the guy, Jack the Ripper, that invented the stamp. So when I found out that this board was for him or was made from him, like I wanted the board, but during COVID, I couldn't find the board. No shop had the board. Bodyboarding didn't have the board. Triad itself didn't have the board. No one had the board, and he's sponsored, so they gave him the board. And he felt like, he's to say he's a white boy. He was like, I don't feel like I represent race. He was like,
that's cool.
So I was like, all right.
He's keeping it real, man. That's cool, man. And you know what? Like, I mean, yeah. So if you make boogie board leashes, flippers, man. Yeah. I mean, Chris puts in work, man. He does it like for the love of it, and you could see that in when you're riding, bro. When you're out there in the water, there, like you said, there's a lot of people out in the water. Everybody's got a common interest. Sometimes people have a different approach or a different attitude about it, or a reason why they do it. Like you said, maybe because it's cool or whatever. But man, I mean, when you see somebody surfing or bodyboarding and they're doing it because they love it, you can see it in the style, right? And then I think that's what I appreciate about what you're doing, and probably with your buddy here, Jack. That's Jack.
Yeah, Jack Lindholm.
Jack Lindholm.
Ripper, but if you look
Jack
up on
Ripper.
his history, like he was trying to stand up on the board, and he couldn't figure out how to stand up on the board, so he got one knee up on the board, and they called it the Jack stand. And then after that, when I came back out of the Army, that was all I saw. I saw these two young kids. One of them's named Frank, the other one's named Taylor. They would skip high school and just be boogie boarding all morning. And I didn't have, I was already out of the military. I was done with high school. So I was watching these guys from the corner of my eye, like what they were doing. And I kept seeing the stance. And I was like, I got to practice this stance. And it took me about, I say, good 3 years.
It's hard
to figure out the stance. That was my whole motive of boogie boarding. I wanted to learn how to drop me, because I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, I had never seen anything cooler, and I saw these two kids, jokers, just messing around, pulling each other off the board, slapping each other, like giving high fives. Like, I was just like, I'm stoked with that. I want that.
Yeah.
And then later on, I started riding prone when I started getting more love for the boogie. I had to research the history of boogie and understand what it was about. And then I started falling more in love with the ocean again, and I guess trying to be more in tune with the water, the flow of it. And that's where I felt on the stomach. I was able to do that more. I could feel the waves. Because anything head high is really sketchy for you, like even as a surfer.
Sure.
So when you're in your belly, everything's head high.
Overhead. It's overhead. Yeah. So I did an interview with another guy. He's been on the show a couple of times. Liam O'Callahan. Shout out to Liam down from Encinitas area. He's a longboarder. He does contests here and there. And him and another guy, Kevin Svarna. I always have a hard time saying his name. He's always at the harbor longboard. He's a professional, amazing talent. So anyways, coming back to what we're talking about here, these two guys decided that they were going to go mob kneeboarding, those hard kneeboarding contests. So yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. Like kind of like that. I mean, they got all kind. They got they got different styles, I guess. I'm learning a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So these guys were training for a few months. I don't know how long Kevin, but Liam, anyways, he was training off to the side. He was doing his surfing. He'd bring the kneeboard with him, take his longboard out, surf, bring it back in, get the kneeboard, practice. So they went to this contest in Huntington just recently, like maybe a month or two ago. And it's, it's one of the major ones they have. And these guys podiumed. The longboard guy, he won first, and I think Liam got third or fourth place in this kneeboard contest. Yeah. And those guys, he said those guys were fully supportive, but I was like, man, they must have tripped out because these two guys were not really part of the circuit, like the kneeboard circuit, you know? And then they showed up and, they were busting moves. And I think one of them shot the pier, all this stuff, right? So
I still surprised that people get like turned on when I do that drop knee. I mean, because I hear it a lot. Like I want to see it. Like they want to see it, and I'm good at it. But when I started doing prone, it's just like it's taking me back to just the pure joy of being in the water. Because it's just finding ways to enjoy what you love doing, but different ways of loving it. Like simpler ways of loving it. Like I guess because like surfers, like once you get real good, I mean, can you go back to just the basics and still love it, like without, doing all the carves and all the tricks? Could you still love it just by standing on it and flowing with it, like the way the longboarders do?
Yeah, that's why I switch. I've been switching board sizes up lately to try to kind of reignite that newness. When you first come to the sport. Because like you said, sometimes you get calloused a little bit, or you're like too technical,
Yeah. Surfers are like that. They won't go out if it's not perfect for them.
Yeah.
I'm glad I chose what I chose later. I didn't know what the hell, all these ideas and all this understanding came later in my life, but I'm glad I chose what I chose because I'm not trying to do anything perfect. Like that's the same with skateboarding. I'm not trying to do anything perfect. I'm just trying to get that pure joy and happiness out. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I mean, I look good at doing it. I'm trying to find that happiness. I don't have family, so this is my family. This is what I've come to cherish and enjoy.
My personal favorite move for myself personally, what I like to do, like what feels good to me on a boogie board, a bodyboard, I love the El Rolo. I mean, if you even if it's a small wave, man, if you can whip that bad boy and just boom and come back down, oh man, that feels so amazing. Because on a surfboard, I mean, there's only a handful of dudes through history that can actually do that move, right? And El Rolo. So on a bodyboard, man, I mean, that still sticks with me. I crave that. I crave that feeling for sure.
Try that move. I haven't really worked on that move a lot, but where I'm at now, I'm in Carlsbad. This is another place, a hub for surfboard, for boogie boarding. Mm-hmm. Between the 80s, when boogie was invented, Carlsbad and Oceanside were the cities that this came out of. Like this really was manufactured, produced, promoted. Everything was out of these two cities, out of Carlsbad and Oceanside. So like, I'm in the prime of I'm late in the era, but I'm in the prime of where I'm supposed to be because it was very in demand in these locations. And this wave that I'm riding, it calls for those type of moves because it heavy pitches. Over here off of Tamarack, there's two jetties, and they launch the wave onto the beach break. And then there's also the reef, so that's also giving a heavier pitch. And you can get into there and get thrown, like really thrown.
Yeah, Tamarack, and another spot over there, I think is probably a good one for El Rolos is turnarounds.
Yeah. That's where I hung out. That's the first spot I started hanging out at.
Yeah, I like turnarounds. That's a cool spot, man. Very underrated, kind of unknown, spot. I like that. So now we just told everybody though. So
I love the names, man, because that to me is like surf culture right there. Turnaround, the jetties, the tamarack. That's our lingo, and like only we would understand that. I mean, they could look it up, but they still gonna have to figure out how to get down there.
It's hard to find. It's hard to find, man. Even if somebody tells you where to go, you can still miss it.
Like down there, it's like have you done Black?
Dude, I did an episode on that, dude. I went with a guy who he surfs the harbor. He's from Oceanside, but he's been going there forever. He's an amazing surfer, dude. I got my ass handed to me. Dude, I was like, but I love it. I love it. That's definitely my kind of wave. But you know what happened, Chris, is I got soft because I've been surfing these North County, like Oceanside Harbor, Sano. I love Sano. I love all that stuff. But it's been a long time since I went to those ass kicking kind of waves. Oh, dude. And of course, I wanted to, my goal was to go to Blacks when it was like 3 to 4 foot to figure it out. No, of course, my boy don't call me when it's 3 to 4 foot. He calls me when it's 6 to 10. So, and of course, what am I going to do? Okay, let's go.
There's ramps there all day, man.
I got hammered.
This is really good there. Like but I'm more talking about the hike down there. How did you get down there?
We went down the main paved pathway.
Oh,
okay. We walked down there.
Okay. I mean, but even that, I feel like most people don't want to go on that journey. Like like in the harbor, you're privileged. You don't have to go that far down. So like to go, like the way I was showed Black with my girl, and she took me down a gnarly. I mean, we went through a dirt place where I had to walk across the beam. I had to, balance between little mountains. I had to climb through a tunnel. Like she took me the roughest way.
The north side. You were on the north side, over by the glider port or something, close to the glider port.
She took me through. It's right before the college. It's they call it the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Yeah. It's a trail that I'm seriously. It's a trail that you got to go on, and it's very rough, but it's what I guess the way I always envisioned what surfing was like, walking down some dirt hill or some dirt road and not knowing what's on the other side of the mountain, and then getting a glimpse of it slowly as you're going down. Like, it's a good trek. Like, you got to be in shape. And so that's why, like, when you say turnarounds, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, that's a trek down that mountain. How are you getting down that mountain? Are you going all the way to the other side and then walking all the way back around? Are you going down the mountain?
Yeah, the goat trail. You're doing the goat trail.
So then most people don't want to do all that because that's kind of gnarly. And I'm going further north of that. I'm going at the end of the fence where that dead tree is. Yeah. On top of the hill. Yeah. I'm walking down that, and there's like all that trail is being invented slowly. But I feel like that's for a surfer to go that far, he must really like surfing, because it's so inconvenient to have to carry all your stuff down and have to hike back up the hill, like to where you can just go to North County and pull up on the beach and then, walk across the beach and then come off and have that little shower, clean you up, and you're on the pavement. It's a lot mellower and easier. And a girl asked me recently in Carlsbad if she wants to learn how to surf, where to go. And I did. I highly recommended Oceanside, because I was like, as you go down, the wave gets gnarlier and it throws. Who wants to learn in a way that's going to pitch you over and throw you and toss you around? Why don't you go learn in like a way that has like a soft lip and that you can just feel? I recommended to go boogie first, and that way you can feel what it feels like to ride a wave. And then if you want to take it to the next level, if you stay in the water 2 hours, then you a surfer. That's what I say, because that was what I did. I stayed in the water 2 hours every day when I was 15 all the way up until I'm 40 now. But that's what told me that I love this more than anything else. If I'm staying in there 2 hours, there's something to say that I love something that much, because that's a lot of commitment.
Yeah, you get a pruny fingers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when I stop, when it prunes, and then I look at the time like, damn, 2 hours. But that's when I knew that I already had the bug, and then the rest of it was trying to figure out how to make the lifestyle work and commit to it. And my city, for some reason, that's just waves every day. But I do venture out on these other cities to try to learn new maneuvers, new tricks, so that when I do come back to my wave, I'm more dominant, more powerful, because I feel Oceanside has the perfect wave. Yeah. And if you know how to ride it right, you can do a lot more. But you can learn how to ride. Yeah, you can learn how to ride it from riding other waves down the coast, and then take.
Back to Oceanside. I've been having the
because
same conversation. I've been having the same conversation with my buddies, man. Sometimes we're always at the same spot. There's another spot I go to, and we always go there, right? But it's like, so we all surf it pretty good. But then if the wave changes, like, every place is a little different. The guy who's been surfing other places usually has a fresh look at it, and everything comes together. But if you just kind of stay stale at the same place, sometimes you just get stale,
Dude, I could see myself doing that in reef breaks. I would get bored of the same. It's just I mean, yeah, you could get pitted and you could do the same, but these man-made jetties, this is something late. I've been doing it, and I'm putting it all together now because I can speak now for what I've witnessed as a young lad. But
Right.
I could see how the man-made jetties offer up a lot of different waves where you can't get that from a reef break. You just have to wait for that energy to come. Where the jetties are making more energies for anything. And if you have this as opposed to a surfer, but I've seen longboarders, because there's some longboarders that are not really keen on the height of the wave, and they can maneuver on what I maneuver on. And it's how far they want to go to the sand, how far do they want to go to the break without the fin hitting, I guess, because I don't have any fin, so I can go all the way to the sand and scrape. Because if they scrape, they're gonna lose their fin. But I've seen longboarders ride like dime little piece because the energy's underneath, and you guys are just trying to pull from the fin, and then you can just go across. And as long as you're moving, you're content. You don't need the face, you don't need the rip, you don't need the lip. You're content with just the movement. Right. And I feel like that's where I was content with, because I'm so much in control of myself, my life, and everything else. I have to have extreme control. That when I get on this it takes over my control. Like I can control it, but I can't control the ocean. So I'm trying to let the natural flow of nature control me into with the natural flow of me. So as long as I keep playing and touching this, then I'll stay in a natural flow of who I'm supposed to be.
That's cool, man. That's a good way to look at it, and a good I mean, it sounds good just to the ears to hear that. So Chris, everybody, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. This has been an amazing experience for me, and an honor to spend some time with you, Chris, and talk about waves and surfing and boogie boarding and Al Rolos and drop knee. I love it all, man. So before we go, Chris, a couple things. One, if there's some more shout outs, any shout outs you want to give to any people that have been supporting your bodyboarding, or just cool people that you see around town, I want to give you an opportunity to do that. And I don't know if you are in the mode right now, but if you have any, a quick freestyle or something, some lyrics that you have been resonating with you, I would be more than honored to let that come out.
All right, I could read a poem that I've written in the past. I mean, I've written so many. Since skateboarding, I've played more than anything else.
Beautiful.
Oh, here's a good one. This is where I used to, when I run away from Oceanside, sometimes I run north. So here's one I call it Crystal Cove, Laguna Niguel. Camped out at the mountain sky, took time to realize all that I ever had, how I made it, and that's rad. Simplistic lifestyle made it worthwhile. How I made it, I know how. Embracing that inner child. I was made for the boogie. 5'11", brown, and I'm still looking groovy. Wearing this flannel because it's legendary. So many dashikis, man, they vary. This type of wardrobe is extraordinary. Coping through life as a surfer. Maintaining my water entry with doubled exposure. Once in the Army as a soldier. Dreaming of Oceanside when I get older. Lot number 12, Econoline Ford, I dwell. Writing these words of spell, catapult me in the future. I'm real. All them hearts, I feel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Man, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful, Chris, man. I really love that. So everybody, I really encourage you, give me a chance, I'm gonna update the description in a few. Check out Chris's YouTube channel, man. He's got all kinds of fresh poetry, some really uplifting stuff, some really deep stuff. And yeah, Chris, I hope to see you at the harbor when you are back and forth. You know, I know life takes people, the currents take us different ways, but hopefully we'll get to meet back in the middle and share some waves or share some parking lot vibes. Always looking forward to it. Shout out to Triad for the sick board. Thing is amazing. And yeah, thanks for blessing us with your spoken word today.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. And we are